Hello! Today I'm doing something crazy. And by crazy, I mean it's not Beanie Baby taxidermy. Like, I know, who am I? So instead today, I'm actually going to be DIYing a birthday present for my big sister, Emily, who loves books and also has a cat. So this I got off Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to prep this, I'm gonna lightly sand, and then I'm gonna paint the whole thing. Put her top 5 favorite books, and then I'm also gonna paint this to look like her cat. So come along with me, see how I do it. So I'm just taking some 120 grit sandpaper. This is super fine, and I am going to lightly scuff up the surface. I am gonna leave the shelf wood, start with the cat and go from there.
As you can see, this piece is made of wood and the wood has a finish on it, which looks fantastic. But to ensure that when I paint it, the paint doesn't just peel off, I need to prep this piece. And that consists of sanding with the 120 grit sandpaper. I did decide after sanding for a couple minutes to cover up the shelf because I am not painting that portion, and I was nervous I was going to accidentally take some of the finish off that portion. So that in the back I covered completely because I don't want any paint over those portions, and then finished out the sanding. Truly just a quick once over just to get enough grit on the surface of that wood so the paint will stick. From there, a little rubbing alcohol, wipe down, literally just to get any residue off from the sanding process. Let that dry, and then it's time to prime. So this is literally like the $3 white primer from Lowe's that claims to be good on wood and metal. So let this dry, and then it's time to paint.
And here she is, all covered and primed. Okay, turns out I wasn't filming any of that. I started to paint little pumpkin here, her signature gray. Wow, that's hilarious. Okay. Ooh. What a pop of color. God, that looks so good.
For context, this is my niece, Pumpkin Chai Latte, aka my sister's cat. She's had her for like 6 years now.
Okay, now I think I'm going to move on to the books just to give this cat a chance to dry, and then I will come back to it. I do think some of the fur is like too cool of an undertone. She has some serious warm like orange undertones, so I might have to work with that a little bit. But for now, I think I'm going to move on to the books. Book options are, I'm definitely doing Pride and Prejudice. And I'm also going to do Lord of the Rings. And I know I'm going to make Lord of the Rings this one because it's ginormous. Lord of the Rings, Pride and Prejudice. One of her favorite books is by John Green, and it's called The Anthropocene Reviewed. I think that'll be this one. Sherlock Holmes and Inkheart.
So from here on out, we're for the most part just painting books. Like I said, I picked out 5 from my sister's list of her favorites. And then from there, I just went online and Googled different renditions or versions of said books. I didn't even mean to, but a lot of her favorites has a lot of like reds and blacks in it. So that's why I chose a blue like rendition of Pride and Prejudice just to get some other colors in there. But at this point, I mean, for this effort, it's really just getting the colors blocked in and then adding more layers. And I did add in a little bit of detail onto Miss Pumpkin here. At this point, just let it be known that I did this the night before I left for the vacation that I went on, where I was seeing my sister, where I was going to gift this to her. So there are some things I would normally not let slide that I really just had to keep moving because I was like, Audrey, you did this to yourself, so you have to keep moving. So after like 3 or 4 layers of paint on these books, I finally moved on to the details. I've put a filter on the screen literally just so you can see the pencil markings better. As you can see, I'm using a little bit of artistic authority here for Sherlock Holmes, and then I turned out I actually messed it up because when the names are on the spine like this, they always go down, not up. So now it kind of looks like Sherlock Holmes is upside down, but I honestly don't have time to fix it because it's the night before. So we're moving in with a paint pen. This is an oil-based paint pen, so you can do oil on top of acrylic, but not the other way around. And at the time, I didn't even have a gold paint pen. I ended up having to go to the craft store to get a paint pen. I was like, Audrey, what the hell are you doing? So again, like all things that I do, this is like the most type B, out of pocket crafting that you're gonna see. So, but look at that little magnifying glass and the pipe. It's very, very cute. Here I am adding in even more layers of paint because there still isn't enough to like make it look like just a solid color. It's so streaky. I swear every time I use acrylic paint, it reminds me why I love using oil. Again, I just didn't have time because it was the night before. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
God, I keep not recording throughout this whole process.
I decided to keep far more true to the inspiration photo for the Pride and Prejudice book. This is the second book that I am putting all the finer details on. After I messed up Sherlock Holmes, I was like, Audrey, you have to freaking lock in and just get this done. So as you can see, my Jane Austen version is much more true to the inspiration photo on the left. I upped some sizing a little bit, and I'm not doing those big blocks of orange, and or gold, and it's just because like it's gonna look really messy, and it's a good thing I didn't, because the gold paint pen I ended up getting totally crapped the bed on me like halfway through. So this has just been such a journey in self-awareness and knowing when and when not to try and finish craft projects. I mean, spoiler alert, it ends up looking fabulous, and you're going to see that at the end here. But just know the trials and tribulations that I went through to make this the perfect birthday gift for my big sister. Really love the Jane Austen, like the little ferns and the flowers. And looking back, I'm like, maybe I should have found a version of Sherlock Holmes that wasn't black. So then maybe like a dark green, that would have been nice. But we live and we learn. Book content right now online is obviously so popular, and I'm obviously feeding into it as somebody who's just mooching off of the content. I really don't read, but I've seen like other people take like side tables, coasters, things that are like book shaped from the thrift, and then redo them and like give them a makeover. So they're like some like popular books of today. This makes me really want to get a Cricut, because the whole time that I was doing this, was thinking how easy it would have been if I had a Cricut to print out all the finer details instead of having to do them myself. So maybe I'll add that to my birthday list this year. It is coming up, and I can then pump out all of the future book DIY content for your viewing pleasure. Until then, I have to freehand it.
God damn, I keep forgetting to...
Okay, this one's really good. I made the tree way too big. So look at how little the tree is in the inspiration photo. Look at how much room there is to write the Lord of the Rings, and then look at my massive effing tree. I had to then squish the Lord of the Rings up above it. This is when I started to have issues with the gold paint pen. Thank God I got the tree done, but I started to write in J.R.R. Tolkien and the title of the book, and I started to have major issues with the paint pen. So I had to put that aside and use black over top, and it just felt like it looked so messy. Like, truly, I know my sister doesn't care. She is not an artist in the same way that I am, so she knows that like she's gonna love it either way, right? So, but this whole time, just know that I am just MFing myself for waiting until the last second to make this thing for her. So Emily, if you're watching this, I promise next time I will do a better job. So I moved from Lord of the Rings over to Inkheart, and I did end up having to write Inkheart in silver instead of gold, but like whatever, right? You know, like who cares? I was
putting the title onto the page. And I realized this while doing Lord of the Rings, but essentially once you put the pencil on the paint covered book, there is no erasing it. I tried in a couple instances, like with the tree, and realized, nope, like that's not gonna work. Otherwise, I would have to just cover it up with another layer of paint, which I don't have time for. But I'm doing this ink heart title, and I start to realize about halfway through, I did it too low. Look at how low ink heart is ending. There's no room for that little lizard. So again, I'm like, oh my gosh. So now I have successfully messed up Sherlock Holmes, Lord of the Rings, and Inkheart. So I put that little black spider at the top from the inspiration photo down at the bottom, and I switched the lizard up top, right? Because like, what are you gonna do? The only one I haven't messed up is Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, if I'm a little bit different than the actual like copyrighted book, then, you know, no one's going to come for me from like a copyright, you know, perspective. So really I'm just, you know, protecting myself as an artist. When really I'm just trying to make an excuse as to why this is so wrong. As you can see, I'm using some white acrylic paint just to put a base on the lizard, and then I'm going to follow it up with the green to fill it in. This one actually, I think in all cases, like I know that it's wrong, but no one else could really tell. I'm at this point using this little pool of gold paint to make the gold pen work. So I was able to do the funky, and all the little decorative bits in gold, and it was just Inkheart that had to be in silver. So like that's where I'm at this point. I'm like, my paint pens aren't working. I'm messing everything up. I have no choice but to keep going. I am such a type B crafter from the get-go, but this was really the first time where I was like, Audrey, this is not how you're supposed to be doing this. Finally, hardest book for last. Had to add in a couple more layers of paint to make these background colors pop. And then from there, let's put the filter back on so you can see, and I'm just writing out John Green's name. His J starts out and the O starts out pretty thick. And then by the time I get to Green, the E's are so skinny. It just got to the point where I was running out of real estate, and I was like in real time realizing. So then I'm like, okay, I need to have enough room to write the Anthropocene Reviewed. So again, I just felt like at every turn I was like, this is just not my DIY. This is probably what I get for trying to mooch off of the book DIY internet trend as somebody who doesn't read. But my white paint pen cooperated, and I was able to fill in the Anthropocene Reviewed. I even did the little like Dutton Publishing moniker, and then filled in John Green. So again, I was like, you know what, it's going to look good from my house because it's going to be at my sister's. Finally, it was done enough for me to say, okay, let's put it down and let's travel to Block Island, Rhode Island so I can gift it to my big sister, Emily.
Should we take off the tape to see what it looks like? Do that next.
Are we ready for that part?
We'll do that next.
Got that girl's ass in the...
We'll get that out and post edit. Because some of the orange, like without the white, it's like a little too stark. I'm gonna neutralize it a little bit. There we go.
I managed to hand my phone over to my mother with some settings set in a way that the entire footage of me removing the tape is completely blurry, but that's okay because now it's going to be like even more grand of a reveal to show you what this looks like. I mean, look at how that bright metallic paint is just glimmering in the sun. So a reminder as to what this looked like before I completely customized it to look like my sister's cat and to paint her 5 most favorite books on it. And I'm going to show you how it turned out in 3, 2, 1. Here it is. Look at how fun. Pops of color, and I think the shelf remaining wood was the perfect little touch. Now let's go show Emmers.
Oh, oh my gosh! Did you paint this?
Uh-huh.
That's pumpkin.
It is a little pumpkin. my gosh.
She does that exact pose.
And you did Pride and Prejudice
stain.
reviewed, Sherlock Holmes, Inkheart, and Lord of the Rings. That's
Yeah,
so
girl.
cute.
Except I wrote out Inkheart and then I realized I didn't leave any room. The lizard is actually down here on the actual
Who
book, so I
cares?
just switched it up.
It's
And then also Sherlock
artist.
Holmes was the first one I did. It's going up instead of going down.
That's fine. I can't tell you how many times I
And
put the
then-
book back on like that.
And then Lord of the Rings, I did the
So it's
tree
actually accurate.
way too big, and I was like, oh, but it's like so small. Lord of the Rings.
yeah, but that's fine. Oh my
Pride and
gosh.
Prejudice came out the way I wanted to, and then this came out the way I wanted to.
Nice. This is so cute. We can hang. Oh, happy birthday! Happy 33rd birthday, Heart Odd.
Look how cute.
Oh, this is very cute.
It's like shining in the sun. Oh, my big head's blocking it now. Oh my gosh, so cute.